The president is expected to announce up to $60 billion worth of tariffs on Chinese imports this afternoon. It's part of a major effort to curb the theft of American technology and intellectual property. It's something White House National Trade Council Director Peter Navarro told me this morning is long overdue.
It's an historic day. This is a fundamental shift in American policy towards China after literally decades of economic dialogue. And, you know, talk is not cheap with the Chinese. It's actually been very expensive because while we've been talking with them since 2003, they've been robbing our technology blind.
Joining me right now to talk more about that is Senate Finance Chairman Senator Orrin Hatch. Senator, it's good to have you on the program this morning. Thank you so much for joining us.
Well, nice to be with you, Maria.
So I want to talk about this. You're convening a Senate Finance Committee meeting with Mr. Lighthizer to talk about this. You disagree with the president on the steel and aluminum tariffs.
I really do. The people who are going to pay for that are going to be the American citizens. It's not going to do us any good in the international trade wars. I think we've got to outcompete them, and you can't do it just by raising tariffs, and it's never worked before. I don't know why it's going to work now.
I mean,
I just don't agree with Peter Navarro.
You go through some of the, the list of our partners across the world, and there are deficits across the board. $375 billion deficit with China, $150 billion deficit with Europe. Just Germany alone, $70 billion. Does that not matter?
Well, of course it matters, but we've got to do a better job of competing with those people. Of course, one of the problems is that they government subsidize their trade, and that makes it very, very difficult for us. So it's not fair. It's certainly not free and fair trade, but I'm not sure that you help by setting up tariffs that I don't think are going to work, and I think in the end will hurt us pretty badly.
So how much of this do you believe is the president negotiating? Because we know that first it was, okay, aluminum and steel tariffs are across the board, and then it became, well, there are going to be a lot of exemptions. Canada exempted, Europe will be exempt, a number of other countries, Argentina, Australia. So what do you think about that? I mean, that's where Peter Navarro and company will push back on the negativity around it.
I remember when they came out with these ideas, I thought, what loony ideas. I'm really upset about it, and so I'm really pleased that the president's backing off to a degree. Look, I don't agree with Mr. Navarro. I don't think that he's living in the real world, and frankly, I think he's misleading the president. But the president buys off on some of this too, because he's tired of being, being pushed around by the rest of the world, and I don't blame him, but this is not the way to beat them. The best way to beat them is for us to outcompete them.
So how do you do that? And what do you want to hear from Robert Lighthizer today, testifying before your committee, the Senate Finance Committee?
Well, Bob Lighthizer is a really fine man, but he's going to do whatever the administration wants him to do. And I expect that he'll try and back this type of thing, and we'll see what happens. But I don't think he's going to have a really really soft reception if this is the type of trade approach they're going to take.
What will be the impact to the economy? Let's say we do have these tariffs that are going to be implemented beginning tomorrow, by the way. Do you expect that there will be an impact? What's the biggest impact? Higher prices for goods, for consumers? Higher prices for business, or what? What is your big worry in terms of the practical impact?
All of the above,
okay.
Because these other countries are not going to put up with it. I think it's ridiculous between you and me. We should outcompete them. We can do it. We have the ability to do it. We just have to get the government off the backs of a lot of our businesses so that they can really compete.
So
and we need to, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, please finish your thought, sir.
Well, we need to compete well, and we need to. Where they're using bad trade practices against us, we ought to hit them where it hurts.
Having said that, you do agree with some pushback on China, right? Today, the president will come out with what we're expecting to be not just tariffs against China, but restrictions in terms of the Chinese ability to invest in American businesses.
Well, I do agree with some pushbacks. I'm not sure those are the right ones, but the fact is, I'm very supportive of the president normally, and I want to support him and probably will. But I'm very concerned about getting into trade wars that really put us at a tremendous disadvantage.
Are you expecting a retaliation from China once these things are announced today? Because you say you agree with targeting the bad actors like China with tools that we already have in place.
Right. Well, yeah, I expect some pushback from China. I don't think there's any question about that. And the question is, are we in a position economically to really fight them? And we've been going downhill in the last number of years, and we've got to pull our country back up, get it on its feet, and get the, get these bad things out of our economic system. And I'm counting on the president to lead that fight and to get that done.
So just to be clear, sir, what should be done with regard to China? And I want to point to your attention to the fact that the markets are really roiled over this. We're right now at the lows of the morning, Senator Hatch. The Dow Industrials are going to open down 250 points, or 230 points is where we are right now. So tell me what specific moves you'd like to see with regards to China, if not what we're talking about here.
Well, I'd be the last to tell the administration what to do. I think Bob Lighthouser does understand this pretty well as our trade representative, and I would hope that he would weigh in more heavily than he's doing right now. And I do believe that the president has good intentions. He wants to pull us out of some of these messes that we're in, but I'm not sure you do it by starting a trade war with China.